So today's video, US Congressman reveals that the USA is the one funding Boko Haram. Not that this is something that we did not already know, but it's nice to actually hear them people say it, like confess to what they are doing or expose what they are doing, because there are some of our people who still are not aware that the predicaments that we are in as much as we self we get our own for our body way we they do, but there is outside influence. There are people, countries and leaders of countries who are intentionally making sure that we are where we are because it benefits them. Hence why when situations like this happen, I like to share just so we continue to put this information out there and expose them people for what they are doing and educate our people as well and make us all aware of what really is going on. Sorry. I have my cat on my lap. She just I don't know. She's been very clingy today, so please bear with me. Lala, you want to say hi? Say hi. Anyways, I strongly believe that it is of importance that each and every single one of us is aware of really what is going on in our countries and our continent at large. Who are the players? What exactly are they doing? How does all of this come together? How does it affect us? Because I believe having this knowledge would ultimately help us know how we can make things better for us, how we can change our situation. Because truly, if you really are not knowledgeable enough as you need to be of a particular problem, you high chance would not be able to know how to solve the problem. Like a brother from TikTok like to say all the time, education is elevation. So on that note, let's get right into the clip.
Who gets some of that money? Does that name ring a bell to anybody in the room? Because your money, $697 million annually, plus the shipments of cash funds madrasas, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, Boko Haram, ISIS Khorasan, terrorist training camps. That's what it's funding. If you think that the program under Operation Enduring Sentinel entitled Women's Scholarship Endowment, which receives $60 million annually, or the Young Women Lead, which gets about $5 million annually, is going to women who, by the way, if you read the Inspector General's report, is telling you that the Taliban does not allow women to speak in public. Yet somehow you're believing, and American people are supposed to believe, that this money is going for the betterment of the women in Afghanistan. It is not. You are funding terrorism, and it's coming through USAID. And it's not just Afghanistan, because Pakistan's right next door. USAID spent $840 million in the last 20 years on Pakistan's education-related program. It includes $136 million to build 120 schools, of which there is zero evidence that any of them were built. Why would there be any evidence? The Inspector General can't get in to see them. But you know what? We doubled down and spent $20 million from USAID to create educational television programs for children unable to attend the physical school. Yeah, they can't attend it because it doesn't exist. You paid for it. Somebody else got the money. You are paying for terrorism. This has got to end. I yield, Mr. Chairman.
So that was Scott Perry, a U.S. congressman, saying that the United States Agency for International Development, USAID, funded terrorist bodies such as Boko Haram. That comment of his started debating Nigeria and beyond for obvious reasons. For those of us who don't know, Boko Haram is a terrorist organization that has been terrorizing Nigeria, kidnapping people, unaliving people. They are a self-proclaimed jihadist militant group based in northern Nigeria and also active in Chad, Niger, northern Cameroon and Mali. It's been stated that their goal is to overthrow the government and replace it with a regime based in Islamic law. They've been this massive bone in our throats for over a decade now, causing so much pain, destruction, and instability. So I just want to quickly give you guys, for those who don't know who the Boko Haram is, a quick rundown or breakdown on what the terrorist organization is about. So after Congressman Perry made his submissions, the US ambassador to Nigeria came out and denied allegations of USAID funding Boko Haram. This was what he had to say.
Let me be clear. There's no friend of Nigeria that has been stronger in its condemnation of the violence of Boko Haram and Boko Haram's contempt for human life than the United States. We have labeled Boko Haram since 2013 a foreign terrorist organization, a designation that was designed to block Boko Haram from carrying out any asset transfers to the United States, allows us to arrest and seize members of Boko Haram, and allows us to cooperate in investigations with the Nigerian government. We, I can assure you, have policies and procedures in place to ensure that USAID funding, any of our assistance funding, whether it comes from USAID, the Department of Defense, the State Department, is not diverted to a terrorist group like Boko Haram. There's absolutely no evidence that I have seen that has occurred. And certainly if we ever had evidence presented to us that a program funding was being diverted to Boko Haram, we would immediately investigate along with our Nigerian partners. And so I just want to be clear that when it comes to Boko Haram, the United States stands with Nigeria in wanting to rid this country of the scourge that organization represents.
So yeah, of course he came out and denied everything the congressman said. But you guys let me know down below in the comment section, who do you think is telling the truth, the congressman or the ambassador? But here's my thoughts. I did not need a congressman to come tell me this, because what the congressman said is an opinion I've had for the longest of time. That is the people that are funding the terrorist organizations. And I don't even think it's only the US that's involved in this. I think there are multiple players. I don't know who exactly. I don't have any evidence, right? I have a hunch. I mean, right now the congressman came out and then he, puts one name to it. Who knows what's going to come out in the future? Who knows who else is going to come out to out them people, right? But I don't think it's only the US that's involved in this. I mean, look at our history, right? We've had multiple people, putting their hands in our ish, right? So it's only plausible to have that belief that, there are multiple interests here. Multiple countries who, want to have a stake on the continent. We see how it went down historically, right? You think they stopped? All of them just stopped? No, they are all still doing the exact same thing under, certain umbrellas that, quote unquote good, but under the table, they are like, parts of illegal diabolical age, right? Funding illegal diabolical age to keep this thing going the way it is, so they continue to benefit. And it really is crazy, isn't it, right? When you think about the fact that, just like what the congressman stated, is the taxpayers' money that they are using to do all of this, all of the wars that they are funding, all of the terrorist organizations that they are funding, all of this dubiousness and wickedness and heinousness and devilishness. It's the people that they are making pay for it. But anyways, back to Nigeria. So after the congressman made his submissions talking about how USAID is funding terrorist organizations, including Boko Haram in Nigeria, Nigeria is now investigating, looking into the situation. A committee has been set up. This committee is called the Ad Hoc Committee, and it's being chaired by Honorable Victor Obuzo. And this committee was established following a statement by the U.S. congressman alleging that funds from USAID had inadvertently supported Boko Haram activities in northeast Nigeria. In response, the ad hoc committee issued sweeping requests to NGOs and development partners demanding comprehensive documentation covering a decade of operations. The committee sought certified copies of audit reports for 10 years, details on directors and trustees, disbursement records, and tax payments of donations made. So Nigeria, it seems, is trying to get to the bottom of what's going on exactly. I also hear the US is investigating as well at their end to, see, I guess, what really is going on. But I would not hold my breath, because asking the people, the accused, to investigate themselves, would they come out and say, oh, yes, it's true, we really did it if it's true? So that's like what can I liken this to? The police investigating themselves after one of their officers have, effed up, and people are crying for justice or whatnot, right? They will not come out and tell us how they are investigating. Like, people, you cannot investigate yourself. It's an external body that's going to, that'll be best to come in and do due diligence. So, when they say they are investigating by day, right now I'm in the US, I'm like, we know how that's going to go. Ain't no way in hell are they going to come out and, actually say that they are doing what they are being accused of doing. It's going to be a scandal. It's like a controversy. There's just no way they're going to come out and publicly out themselves like that and say, oh, we really, they're not going to do that. So, I mean, come on, we know how these things go. It's just crazy, the effed up world we live in, right? Hence why I said I'm not going to hold my breath. I think the congressman has done what he needs to do, puts it out there in a public stage. What the situation is, it's now up to us to, on our end, do what we need to do. Because if we're waiting for the US to do anything about it, nah, they are not doing that. They are not here for that. They don't give any Fs, right? They are doing what they need to do, what they believe they need to do, what they want to do. Now is up to us, I believe, to do ourselves right, to do our own due diligence and kick all the mofos out and guard our own behind, protect ourselves. Because if we're waiting for anybody to do that, that's never going to happen. It's in our hands. It's up to us to do what's right for us. I'm going to leave it here. Let me know down below in the comment section what your thoughts are. Let's continue this conversation there. Thank you very much for watching, and of course, as always, I'll be catching you in the next one. Bye.
Seen Boko Haram regroup and regroup and regroup. What is your answer to that? That you have in some way fed the insurgents?
The problem is that I think we've talked to international community. Let's find out the funding. When they started surrendering, by the time we left, so as we speak, we have over 120,000 that have surrendered. Most of them, when you find them, they are coming with hard currencies. How did they get them? How are they funded? How did they get the training? How did they get the equipment?
What is your suspicion?
Well, maybe an international conspiracy, you don't know. Who knows? How are they be able to sustain themselves for 15 years? That is one question I think everybody should ask himself. For Nigeria to be able to hold them, and you go to Nigeria, everything seems to be working well.
You must have an idea. I mean, let's not talk about international conspiracy theories. Let's give some hard facts.
Well, I just leave it at that. I'm sure they know, and I'm sure everybody knows that these are the challenges we're facing, that needs to be addressed. So the UN need to come in to ensure that, because we need to trace the funding. How are they sustaining themselves for 15 years?
What does the UN coming in mean? What does that look like?
Track the funding. It's international flow. We don't have control over that.
Whose interest is it to see Nigeria destabilized?
Well, I don't know. You don't know.